With history forged through the centuries, it's rooted in proud traditions. It is the perfect place for an ultimate interaction with life in East and Central Africa. It survived colonial masters to become financial capital of Kenya. Home to a tenth of Kenya's population, Nairobi City plays a host to 5 million people during the day and 4 million people during the night. Challenged by the rapid expansion of the 21st century, Nairobi rests at the closest range of judgment, a testament to devolution streak.
I, Evans Odhiambo Kidero, do swear that I shall always, truly and diligently serve the people and the Republic of Kenya in the office of the governor. So help me God.
And with that, Nairobi County became the face of it all.
As a resident of this county, we have had several advantages that devolution has brought, and I want to touch on employment. Quite a good number of people from this county have been able to access employment opportunities in the county.
I mean, when we got into, after the elections in April 2013, we inherited the Nairobi Former City Council. We inherited about 7,000-8,000 employees. But together with that, on the devolved functions, we got another 9,000 employees, making them 17. We did the first census. We found there were 2,000 ghost workers whom we removed from the payroll. Our payroll cost went up from 600 million to 1.1 billion.
The payroll costs are above 50%, which is not sustainable in any government.
As part of our strategic plan and performance monitoring system are just some of the things that we are doing to ensure that we don't just have staff, but we have staff who are working in the right places, staff who are productive.
Making the workers think like one has been one of our biggest achievements. Cultivating a sense of self-worth in the worker has also been a very big achievement for us, because as HR, our asset is the worker. Our resource is the worker. There is no organization that can perform well without a happy worker.
To find answers to the current challenges, the county government had to take a U-turn from old ways of doing things.
It's been tough to shake off that tag, but what's been most disappointing is the culture of our own people, culture of the people who live in Nairobi, right? But we are leaders and we expect that to happen. So what have we done about it? We've run a culture change program that we started internally to change the culture of our people internally, to say, listen, we now must be moved from Kanjo Kingdom to service delivery, to servant leadership. Our primary role is to serve that citizen out there, not to harass them, not to maim them, not to kill them, not to intimidate them, but to serve them.
We are going to employ 600 county inspectorate people with the 50 fire officers. This we are undertaking in collaboration with the National Police Service, whereby they are going to help us on the recruitment, the curriculum of training. We are going to gazette the new uniform for the inspectorate, whereby we want to remove that thing called Kanju. It's going to be a very different uniform, rebranded. We want to rebrand the people who are going to be the face of the county, the inspectorate. You will see different things.
just getting people to do what they're supposed to do, and that's give service, unqualified service to Nairobi residents. And we'll only retain workers who will give Nairobi workers, who will give Nairobians unqualified service, not a conditional service.
Nairobi County government inbred soaring levels of inadequate infrastructure and basic necessities like clean water, proper housing, sewer systems, and even scant road network.
We inherited a city where everything was central. Everything happened at City Hall. Now we have 17 sub-county administrators and 85 ward administrators. So what that has done is we have taken service delivery right to the ward level.
60% of development in Nairobi, 60% is unapproved development. So you find people have built houses, developments, business developments, you know, without approved plans.
To jumpstart service delivery in Nairobi, Governor Kidero settled on a 7-point master plan.
The first plan was done in 1927, the next one 1948, integrated plan. But there's none that has ever been delivered. We were able to deliver the Nairobi Urban Integrated Development Plan, what you call the Niuplan. We were able to put the first strategic plan 2015 to 2025 in place.
Master plan is to bring order and to have a city that's functional, right? Functionality means you don't want to live on one side of the city, say Roysambu, and the only school you can take your child to is in Kawangware. Which means that you have to travel across the city just to go to school or to access a hospital or to access offices. So what we are doing is we say you build the city into economic zones, where you put Eastlands as one economic zone, Westlands as one, you have Upper Hill that is our financial district, you have Karen now that's become a city within a city. All these things are done strategically. So the people in Karen can shop, can play, can work, you zone it for office buildings or commercial buildings, and so on and so forth. There's hospitals there, there's schools there, so that somebody doesn't have to leave their jurisdiction to go to another jurisdiction.
The city is undergoing certain level of decline, and so our intervention is to prevent further decay and also to renew areas where decay has taken place.
You know, Nairobi was never built for the Africans. Actually, Africans were supposed to have small single rooms. And that's the reason why 6.7 out of 10 people live in informal settlement. So what we want to do is to, and we'll be launching within the next month or so because plans are complete. We've already acquired partners. We will be building bed sitters, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 3 bedrooms. Right across at Ngara, at Jivanji, at Fort Jesus, then Bachelor's Estate, which is across from Kariako Market, and Pangani on this side, And on the other side, we will be building in Suna Estate, which will have an integrated market as well, and Jamhuri. We are going to do a total of 30,000 houses, which will be very, very affordable, affordable both in terms of purchase and in terms of rent, where we'll be, if you're renting, after 15 years, the house becomes yours. And then the second bit is on our Eastlands estates, where we have 12,000 acres starting from Shaurimoyo, Bahati, Kaloleni, Maringo, Jericho, Jerusalem, Makadara, Uhuru. We are also going to do an integrated, what we call mixed-use developments. because there are lots of spaces, and we'll do high-rise with the houses that are fairly affordable. The feasibility study is just about complete, and by the time we're halfway with the Ngara, Pangani, Fort Jesus, the other ones will be starting.
What is that doing in areas like Pangani, where you have an estate on a large piece of land, 3 or so acres, only hosting 48 people? So we've said, fine, we've spoken to the residents, we've told them, we're going to move you temporarily into a commercial area. We're even going to pay your rent for you in that commercial area. We're going to bring down these 48 houses, and we're going to build you 1,800 houses. Because in 1950, the population in Pangani was very different than in 2016. So now you have to do your urban renewal. You have to take over the challenges of urbanization. So we are creating 14,000 new houses now on the 7 sites.
So how do we guarantee these people? We say that for the people who are living in those estates, we will give them house at on the basis of a tenant purchase, because they cannot afford mortgage. If we give them a tenant purchase, then we have to pay for that money as county. Then we will we'll get that money from them gradually in terms of rent. So what we have changed is that instead of paying us rent and you don't own, you will pay rent to own. They are all self-contained, certainly. Even things like gas can be piped. We make sure that even rainwater is harvested and treated and reused. Use of solar for heating, all those green solutions are inbuilt into the system. Building service is basically the provision of architectural services, engineering services, and quantity survey services to support the county to implement building projects.
If Nairobi has to be attractive to industrialize, industry investors in industry, to create jobs, investors in schools, in housing, any level of development, is all pegged on access to land. A place like Pipeline is a classic example here. All the developments in Pipeline have no approval. The reason was that the owners only had allotment letters from land buying companies, or in some cases even didn't have documents. So this is actually what informed the formation of regularization. Coming up with a regularization act, so that investors are given a window through which they can regularize their developments, including land. Land buying companies which went out, for example, to partition land and allocate. So the landowners only have allotment letters or share certificates. They may not have actual allotment letters, but share certificates.
And what regularization is okay, yes, we know the city grew without a master plan, we know we made mistakes, we know we didn't allow people to build without ownership documents like title deeds. So that has resulted in almost half, or a little more than half, what our census tells us, of Nairobi being illegal. There are illegal developments. People built, they are not approved, they didn't follow city bylaws, and even if they did, they are not approved by us. So we have said, okay, listen, let's bring back order into the housing and physical planning.
Nairobi Integrated Urban Masterplan proposes a sub-center system preferred by city structure planning in which residents will live in housing arrangements only around specific transport corridor.
In the last 4 years, we've been able to maintain and build new roads, a total of 2,200 kilometers. Yeah, I know we'll talk about congestion. At my insistence, we pushed the opening of the southern bypass, so now all trailers are not passing. And actually, the lorry drivers like it because it takes them only 30 minutes from Kikuyu to the airport road. 10,000 vehicles, new vehicles get registered every month in Nairobi. So to ease congestion, we are planning on building 9 transport corridors. The first one is Outer Ring Road, which is under construction at the moment. The next one we launched with the President last week, which is Ngong Road. The third one will be Jogoo Road. The fourth one is the overpass, which the feasibility study is nearly complete, coming from CMC, going up at CMC and dropping down after ABC towards Kabete and Kino. Langata Road is so these are being built for what you call BRT, bus rapid transit systems. We are at advanced stage in discussion with the Turkish people on construction of commuter rail, the line from Juja to Nairobi, Nairobi to Machakos, and Nairobi to Limuru, because that's the only way we can move huge populations.
We are not foreseeing a Nairobi which is monocore meaning that it has got one CBD. We are seeing a Nairobi which has got a center around Ruaka, a center around Karen, a center around Njiru and Kasarani. And we are integrating the bus or the matatu transport system. We integrate it with the light rail system. We integrate it with the non-motorized system so that if you are moving from one side of the city to the other, it is very, very easy for you to connect without walking long distances.
Also, there used to be lots of accidents because all roads which were built never had pedestrian walks, nor bicycle lanes. Right now, all the roads that we are building have what you call NMP, non-motorized transport. If you go to off Jogoo Road, going down towards Buruburu, you've seen what we've done on Rabai Road. You've seen the western link that starts from Nakumatt Prestige across to Kileleshwa, to Westlands. There's a new one that we are doing with the European Union, starting from the Link Road in Westlands, through Deep Sea, across Parklands, and joins Thika Super Highway. So all the roads that we are doing will have NMTs.
I think one of our thrusts has been to make Nairobi a 24-hour economy. And towards that end, we have, working with other sectors, improved the safety and security of Nairobians, particularly at night. This is by way of enhancing the lighting in partnership with the Kenya Power, obviously, because they need to supply the energy and also do the service lines for us.
I mean, we only inherited, Nairobi was dark because all the security lights were not working. People had pulled out all electric wires that serves the electric poles. Even the other thing we've done to make sure that there's no vandalism of electric wires is that we now do high voltage overpass and then drop them to the poles. So this obviously is a bit of, gives a tamper and thieving proof.
on the master plan, we are now looking at sewer, right? Where you have sewer outbursts all the time in the city, which is a big concern, not just because the residents are complaining, but it's a health concern. You can get outbreaks and so on and so forth. It's because some of those sewer pipes and sewer networks are 60, 70 years old. They have done their life. Like anything on earth, its lifetime is over. It needs upgrades, it needs renewals.
Recognizing that over the past 8 years or so, there has been massive development of real estate, and therefore the seepage area, when the rains fall, has reduced, leading into very high intense surface water runoff. Anytime we have now the flash floods, the water does not sink. It runs off the surface of the road, and the flood levels are now very high, and we have been able to contain that.
It needs expansion because the sewer networks that were done 40 years ago only covered 40% of Nairobi. The other percentage of Nairobi was probably forest, but now you have Karen that has come up. You have estates on Thika Road, on Mombasa Road, on Langata Road that never existed. You have all these suburbs. You can see now we're building a new city called Two Rivers. Yeah, just by Runda. Those places never existed. How do you provide infrastructure for them? Yeah, so as part of the master plan now, we are doing what you call the sewer master plan for Nairobi. So we can map out where are the sewers, which ones need renewal, which ones need new connectivity, where can we now begin to do very big infrastructure projects for sewer so we can ensure that waste, human waste, is disposed of properly in the city.
Through our company, which is 100% owned by Nairobi City County. This is the Nairobi Water and Sewage Company. This company produces 540 meters cubed of water per day. Yet the demand is 720 meters, 20,000 meters per day. We have a shortfall of about 200,000 meters cubed. So, but we are improving because we have the Northern Collector Tunnel. If it starts operating by the end of this year, we will increase our water supply in Nairobi by 140,000 meters cubed per day. So we'll have a very small shortfall of 60,000. We have other arrangements to improve our water demand. So that is our water sector. So I'm hoping that in a year's time, water rationing might come to an end. If we can harvest rainwater so that we use it in areas like watering our gardens, washing our cars, it will also help us. The other area we want to encourage, especially the car wash facilities, is for them to have the water recycling machines. So that if you are using, for example, 200 liters of water per day, if you recycle it, you will actually use 20 liters because the water you might waste is about maybe 10%. The other one, you recycle the same 200 liters. So we are now working on regulations to make sure that if you have a license or you apply for a license for a car wash facility, you must be able to recycle your water. In the low-income areas, we have brought in meters which are prepaid, whereby you just insert a token into the meter, it opens the pipe, you take the amount of water you need. From there, once you remove the token, it just closes the tap. We have done this in Kahawa, Soweto. We have put in 120 meters. No, we have put in 16 meters. We have done it in Mathare. So in total, we have got these prepaid meters in Nairobi. There are about 120 of them. This is a pilot, and it's working very well. The beauty of these areas is that they are low income, and we are charging very little for water. In fact, we are charging 50 cents per 20 liters of water. So you just come in, fill your token, and if you put 20 shillings, you can see you have got about 40 liters of water. So, and that is the cheapest you can have. The net effect of that kind of a program has actually done away with the water vendors, because the water vendors are selling water at 5 shillings per 20 liters. I believe it's 5 or 10 shillings. But we are selling it at 50 cents per 20 liters. So we are embracing technology and also subsidizing the water price at the low income areas. I know it might be more expensive in the higher bracket, but soon, once we go into those systems, the water price will come down. We want to manage water wastage or water which does not give us income. We refer to it as non-revenue water. Currently, we have got 38% of water in Nairobi which is not paid for. This is non-revenue water. We are trying to focus on that because our income right now from the water sector is about 800 millions a month. If we can get our 38% which is not being paid for, we'll hit $1 billion. But this requires a bit of investment. So we have a program now whereby we want to put a system throughout our water system. We measure the flow. This is the SCADA system we want to put in our pipes so that we can know at what point how water is flowing and where we are losing it. We will invest in that area, and I know an advertisement is coming up soon, so that we try to reduce where water is leaking. This year alone, the water sector bought 550 water tanks, which are, each of them is 10,000 liters, and we are supplying them to women groups, youth groups, and CBOs. And the distribution will start next week. The tanks have already been supplied. They are in our Nanyuki store. So we are thinking about them, and we are looking at it as a venture for these groups, either for car washing facility, for women to access clean water, because we shall supply water to those points where they will put tanks. So we are thinking about them, and we want to make sure that each of these groups, they enjoy clean water in terms of drinking and washing. So we have invested about 60 million shillings to buy those tanks. They are already supplied.
Every Nairobian produces 2,400. We produce per day 2,400 tons. We collect garbage, but there are also private garbage collectors, and our biggest problem is with garbage collectors because we are not able to regulate them because they went to court. And the other people, when you see garbage heaps in the morning, is because they want to save money. They don't want to take garbage to Dandora. They just dump. They do dumping, and they do it dead in the middle of the night. And probably, I mean, shame on them because they're making our city dirty. We are doing the roads in Dandora. We are fencing Dandora, and we are pushing the garbage much further back.
We are now implementing solid waste management, which was part of our master plan. So we have already begun talking to residents and businesses, saying, listen, we are the city. We want to provide you a solution to your waste management, your garbage. So pay now this small fee, and the city will come and manage all of this for you. We've already started with Isili. We're now moving to the hotels, and people are very excited about that.
For example, we bought 31 trucks in the year 2013, 2014. We bought 10 skippers, skip loaders, and this was in addition to what we had. Remember, Nairobi has a population of about 4.2 during the night and about 5 million during the day. So they generate about 2,400 tons of solid waste per day. When the devolved system started, we were only able to collect about 500 tons of garbage per day. And with the time, we have increased it to almost 1,000. In fact, 1,850 tons per day.
So we have a plan now for solid waste. Of course, the eventual plan is to turn Dandora into an energy plant where we take all that solid waste, do waste to energy project, and then our feasibility study says we can generate up to 70 megawatts of power, which now we can use to power our streetlights right around the city.
There are other proposals for people to produce CNG. This is compressed natural gas. You heat the garbage so that you add some high energy oil to produce compressed natural gas, which can be used to drive vehicles, it can be used in industries. So that is actually another source which somebody is proposing to use for the Dandora for. In the next, I think 6 months, we should have 5 trucks per every sub-county. We have got 17 sub-counties in Nairobi and 85 wards. So what I'm saying, if we can have 1 truck in every ward or more, then we have others which are there for emergency. We should be able to attain 2,400 tons per day. We have a program which is coming up, which we want to run in schools, because we have realized that some of us grown-ups are finding it difficult to change our habits. So we have deliberately targeted our county schools where we will get environmental champions. I'm working closely with the education sector in the county to get in each school 2 environmental champions, a student and a teacher, who will champion environmental matters. And then we try to change the attitude from the schools, and hopefully these children will talk to their parents so that we change. If we do that, you will realize that we will spend less resources in sweeping the streets, sweeping the estates, and if the garbage is at the right place, even the collection becomes easier.
Within trade, we manage both formal and informal trade, which includes formal trade, all our markets. We have about 43 markets that are formalized within the county government. Then we've got also a lot of other informal markets that would take us up to about 45 if you include the Maasai markets that operate in the different malls and supermarkets. It's interesting to note that even though people don't think so, we're already in a 24-hour economy. If you look at some of the markets that I manage, despite the fact that we have opening and closing hours, the business continues throughout. Wakulima business starts as early as 2 a.m. in the morning and continues up until, and even when we do close our gates at about 1 p.m., because obviously as a wholesale market it shouldn't stay on, even though the market closes, the business still bustles around Wakulima, and it continues. It's almost a 24-hour business running. Muthurwa the same. The things that we've been able to work, and it's not just my department, but in conjunction with the Roads and Infrastructure Department, the fact that we've been able to light the city. The city is now 70% lit, which means walk in town, it's like daylight in the evening. And so people are calmer, they can work later. They can be able to even hang around the CBD a lot longer than they used to in the past.
We are going to move the Markiti. It was built for 300 people. Now it hosts 15,000 people. we are constructing at the junction of Outer Ring Road and Kangundo Road in near Umoja, a new fresh produce market. It's been fenced, and it will be done within the next 7 to 8 months. And that should obviously relieve the pressure. We are spending 6 billion shillings to build a new market in Karandini. Karandini is in Dagoretti Corner. A new market in Muthurwa. A new market on Diogo Road where there was ban, where they ban sometimes. A new market at here in Kariako. Last but not least, a new market in Kangemi, all at a cost of 6 billion. The market in Westlands is nearly ready. I think we'll be getting it handed over within the next 3 to 4 months, and people will go back to it. And we built a brand new market, which will be ready in the next 2 months at City Park Market.
And ensure that the city is growing strategically. Nairobi is one of the fastest urbanizing cities in the world. It means that people are coming into the city all the time to look for opportunities. Actually, out of the 1.2 million people who join the workforce every year, 800,000 of them end up in Nairobi.
So even though you ask us, what are we doing about the hawker situation? I think the citizens of Nairobi have to ask themselves why they continue buying from hawkers in undesignated areas. I have had a chat with these hawkers, and even when I take them and I tell them there's a place here called Muthurwa that you're actually supposed to operate from, they will nicely tell me, madam, we are looking for the business. And the business is on the streets. That's where the watejas will buy from us. So with us, we would then want that we partner, citizens and the government. Let's buy from designated areas. Because if we did go and buy from those designated areas, they would go back. The culture we've had in the past is most Nairobians hardly take the initiative to regulate themselves. And that is where now the enforcement comes in. It is the Nairobians who require this security. You want to be able to walk in Kenyatta Avenue as a lady with your handbag, leisurely, and enjoy living in a city. But if you don't obey the requirements that we can't have hawkers on pavements, then that privilege of walking down the avenues becomes challenged. We had challenges with fire when we initially took over government, and these are challenges that had come from the previous regime, but in the last year or so, we've not suffered any fires in any of our markets, which means even our safety profile has gone up. Our firemen are able to get to the point of fire very quickly, and therefore we're not losing markets as rapidly as we used to due to fire. We are now working on a project to start building a new fresh produce hub. It will be the largest in East and Central Africa. It will be sitting on about 47 acres. We are using 32 acres for wholesale, and then we are using about 15 acres on retail. Because whether we like it or not, retail follows wholesale, and that is the way it has grown through the years. With that happening, it will be one of the biggest logistics hubs for fresh produce, and we believe that it will also help improve the production of our produce, in that we're looking at food processing, food packaging, which means at the end of the day, we're not just selling to our citizens within the city, but we will be able to repackage our produce and send it out into the East and Central Africa region. So just like produce from South Africa reaches here, the main reason we know produce from Kenya has not been able to go internationally is that we've not been packaging to the standards that are required for export. So in this fresh produce hub, we shall be doing that.
Nairobi is unique in that we have the best farmers you can talk of it in the country. And for example, we have, for the last, now going to the third year, or fourth year, we have been getting either farmer number 1 or farmer number 2 in the country. And the National Ministry of Agriculture normally reads farmers in the country. So that can tell you have very good farmers. But on the other side, we have people living in the informal settlements who actually are really food insecure. And one of the main challenges that the department has is to try and improve or uplift the food security requirement or status of people in the informal settlements.
Hey guys, welcome to Giraffe Manor, Nairobi, Kenya. Oh, your tongue is so slimy. They're all going back out.
Our main mandate is the promotion of local tourism. Nairobi has traditionally been the hub not only of Kenya, but of East and Central Africa. One thing about Nairobi, which is unique to Nairobi city, is the fact that it is the only city worldwide with a natural ecosystem, the national park within its boundaries. So for us, we've ignored it for years, and we feel that we need to get people back to seeing Nairobi as the home of wildlife as well. So in fact, at the national park, you'll see every single one of the big five, apart from perhaps the elephant. But if you don't see the elephant, you can go down the road and be able to see it at the David Sheldrick Foundation.
The issue of Nairobi City County is unique as far as health is concerned. Unique in the sense that we have 65% of the people in this county who are in informal settlement, and you get very serious disparities, economic disparities. And in those informal settlements, we have public health issues which are challenging compared to the other areas. And I think if all those can be addressed to embrace the PPP, then we'll be very far, because we'll be able to address social determinants of health.
Our 91 health centers around the city are now operational. 6 of them 24 hours. It's never happened in Nairobi. It happened in our time. It wasn't there before. So now we are beginning to decongest Kenyatta National Hospital, where if you had a headache or small sprain or diarrhea, you run to Kenyatta National Hospital. Now you can go into any of our 91 health centers anywhere in the city. Like I said, 6 of them now 24 hours, different parts of the city.
We've created 24-hour operation in 22 of our hospitals. We've created a 150-bed maternity in Bagathi. We are in the process of modernizing Pumwani and Mutuini. We built a new theater in Pumwani.
We also have rehabilitated those facilities. The fiscal structure has been made conducive to offer those services. And if I have to say one, like for instance, Dandora 2. Yeah? Dandora 2 now is offering labor services and 24-hour services. Mukuru Kwanjenga, and others, out of, as I said, 17 of them. One thing also we have done with our 4 major hospitals, like Bagathi, we have purchased cancer screening machines, particularly the cancer of cervix. Yeah? And as we speak, Mama Lucy also, we're doing the same. Devolution, as far as health is concerned, is like a new net. A mother gives birth to a baby. The baby is taken care of. The baby is nursed. The baby becomes, it passes through several milestones. And I'm sure we are equal to that task at the county level. And I'm sure if we address the issues of human resources, that's promotion and whatever, I think that will be done. Last year we did employ about 400 healthcare providers. As we speak now, though this for future, we are also now in the process of recruiting another about 400 healthcare providers. We have also inherited, or we have been given, or we got doctors from those who have finished internship. We have about 46 of them also in the county. So I think in all the spheres of health, as we look at it, equipment, infrastructure, human resource, it's only perhaps the commodities we're having and each here and there, but we are also trying the best we can to have adequate commodities.
We've done a state-of-the-art mortuary and incineration plant in Bagathi. Our hospitals have drugs which they never had before, and we've deployed sufficient personnel in our health system. Actually, our health system gets the biggest budget. They get 27% of our total budget.
We also have others who are called implementing agencies by those major partners. And I take this opportunity to highly appreciate the role of partnership and the role of PPP, public-private partnership. I have seen quite a number of public organizations who are coming over to assist health sector in Nairobi City County. And I appeal for them to keep on having this cordial relationship so that we improve the health status of people living in Nairobi. And if I was to be asked, I would say that people should take control of their health. An individual should take control of his own health, meaning what you are eating, where you are eating it, why you are eating it. Yeah? I know economically some of us are challenged, but I think it's crucial. Disease treatment or curing a disease is so expensive compared to preventive measures.
Basically, our mandate is on, when we look at the pillars under finance, we have the financial reporting, we have asset management.
In January 2015, Nairobi was named as the best, most intelligent city in Africa. We came first. We beat Durban in South Africa, which is well known for that, in Johannesburg, and we were number 1 and actually number 13 in the whole world. That shows you the level of development and innovation that is in the ICT space in the country and the acceptability.
Nairobi never had what we call an ERP, an enterprise resource planning. That's the platform that runs our financial systems, our financial operations, our HR operations, which we are implementing now at the moment. And this will host all the services, land rates, car parks, and everything. eGGPay is a facilitator that integrates the payment system into the ERP. One, the employees were resistant, because if you are embracing technology and you're using an electronic payment system, then the lack of integrity, and we know that our people were collecting money, either giving fake receipts, mostly fake receipts, or just not giving receipts at all. And this was going to negate it, so we had to really fight to get it accepted within our employees, and I think we are getting there.
We spent 3 very painful months, from April 2013, which was the month we got elected, till about August 2013 to come up with the ICT roadmap for Nairobi. And we decided, 1, we need a data center. 2, we need to make all our buildings ICT enabled, so you do your cabling and all of that. 3, you need an electronic messaging system, and scheduling system, so you put in an enterprise system. 4, we have to communicate with our citizens, so we said we need government to citizen communication platform. We put out a website, which we do most of our business with our citizens through. 5, we said we want now to have an enterprise resource planning system, where we're going to look at all the areas of the city and combine them into one, so that us, the leadership, can know by the click of a button what's happening anywhere in our city.
We train, we mentor, we coach. We also interface with ICT. We do a lot of digitalization. I'm sure you have seen eGGPay and such like ICT-based solutions in performance management. So the ultimate is to have a high performing workforce. That is the ultimate.
For us, we are looking at ICT to be able to reduce, number 1, reduce corruption, reduce pilferage, and better provision of services to the citizens of Nairobi. And we are appealing to the citizens, and that is the sensitization that has always been going on. That, number 1, let not long queues bog you down, because you can be able to pay electronically. Number 2, let the absence of a parking attendant not inconvenience you, because you can still pay via the phone. And number 3, we say eGGPay is your right to expect service, because you have paid through the proper channel. You know the county government has collected from you, so you expect better services.
We have a procurement plan, which is uploaded to the IFMI system. And the procurement plan goes side by side with the budget plan, so that whatever is to be procured in the IFMIs is also linked to the budget. Whatever is not in the IFMIs is not implemented. So we have implemented the IFMI system. Everything is done electronically, from procurement up to tendering process. And actually, you know, the tender system was removed in the new Procurement Act of 2015.
No child should stay at home because they don't have fees. Most of Nairobi schools are congested, even though primary schools and secondary schools, even though schools, primary school education is devolved.
We have sub-county administrators, and this has been up to 85 ward administrators. Services are being developed to that level. So this is one key area through which services have been developed.
We've been able to build new classrooms in Olympic. We've delivered a completely new school in Mathare Hospitals. We've been able to build a new school in Riruta. We'll be able to build a new school in St. Michael's. We'll been able to do a new school in Roysambu, and we are currently just about to finish a school in Kariobangi. We've built close to 100 classrooms, ECD classrooms, and in the last 3 years, the performance in the Nairobi schools, because of our involvement, has improved substantially. We had one of the lowest primary to secondary school transition rates, which has improved by well over 30 percentage points. That's on education. We have two types of scholarships. We have scholarships for wards and sub-counties, but we also have the Governor Kidero Scholarship, where bright students within Nairobi City who cannot afford fees get fees paid, because it doesn't make sense to pay 2,000 or 3,000 because they'll drop off anyway. So when we take a child, we pay the full fees for the full 4 years. And that's what we're doing. And this has benefited maybe about 5,000 students. Actually, the schools are aware. There's no school you go to that is not aware. All the 210 primary schools that are in Nairobi are aware. And we take on the average between 6 to 7 students per school. No bright child stays at home because of lack of school fees. Yeah.
We inherited a city that was number 3 in FDI. Now we are number 1. We inherited a city that never showed up anywhere on the global map. Now we are number 11 in the world, only city in Africa. We inherited a city where the World Bank doing index had said we were at 137 in 2013. We've brought that down to 109, right, in the world. And that's based on the innovation interventions we've done in getting single business permits to ensure that businesses come up and running. We mentioned we inherited a city that was second to last in living in the entire world, next to Tehran in Iran. Now we are number 20, and we've been ranked as the 10 best performing cities. We have made the biggest move. We have moved 20 places in just 3 years. We've inherited a city where the infrastructure had completely broken down. We didn't have a master plan, so the city grew without a master plan from 2000 to 2013. We put in a new integrated master plan in 2014, the first integrated master plan this city in 100 years has ever had. All others have just been about development control.
A lot of the multinationals have moved their headquarters here, Microsoft, General Electric, IBM, Coca-Cola, but also we've seen a lot of visitors, a lot of conferences coming in. We've got a good chemistry with my deputy. We work as a team, and we work with our CECs as a team, and I think we are going to run together with my deputy governor in the coming elections. For the other people, for the other groups or coalitions, I really don't, we are driven by our desire to change our city, to make our city attractive, to keep on attracting more visitors.
You've seen there's been a flurry of opponents. I think actually every week a new person enters the race for Nairobi governor, right? And what worries me is some of the things that they're saying, right? They're saying, I want to be governor because I've come from this part of the country or this tribe. Or I want to be governor because that other governor has failed. Or I want to be governor because I'm young. Or I want to be governor. I mean, guys. So for example, was it refreshing to see that we're in the lead? Absolutely. Not refreshing because we're on the lead. Refreshing because we can see the work we are doing is finally paying off. Because if we did not do any work, we'd be at 3% like the others, but we are not, right? So that's where the polls become exciting, because for us it's really a reward kind of system. But again, you have to look again into our history. Yeah. What is our vision? Our vision is to make Nairobi something, somewhere where everybody wants to live, work, yeah, and invest.